Hey everyone. Hope you're ready for the holidays. It's Jennifer Woods. Thank you for joining me today as I discuss the holiday classic Home Alone. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel. At the moment, I am posting once a month. So the movie opens with Pete and Frank McAllister's families preparing for a holiday trip to Paris. They're at Pete's house, and there are kids all over the place. Most of them seem to belong to brother Frank. A cop is just standing around in the entranceway, looking not at all suspicious as he asks all these kids if he can talk to the adult of the household. We're introduced to 8-year-old Kevin McAllister, who is a brat. He's offended because Uncle Frank won't let him watch a movie with the other kids. Mom is like, well, if Frank thinks the movie's too mature for you, that right there says a little something about that movie now, doesn't it? Apparently, Frank is useless as an uncle and useless as a grown-up in general. Kevin has made ornaments using Dad's new fish hooks because the old ones have bait on them. Duh. Dad's not pleased about that. Meanwhile, the cop is still standing around. Nobody seems to wonder what the hell is this cop doing, just making himself at home in their front entranceway. Plus, he's got a gold tooth. Spoiler alert, he's not really a cop. More griping from Kevin. He doesn't know how to pack his suitcase. He's only 8. Poor baby Kevin will have to sleep with cousin Fuller, and Fuller wets the bed. Fuller is played by Macaulay Culkin's real-life brother, Kieran Culkin. Could this house be any fuller? Probably not. And that's why little Fuller McAllister, who's full of Pepsi, will have to sleep on the sofa bed with his cousin Kevin. Kevin's older brother, Buzz, won't let him sleep with him. Buzz, like any good bully, has a pet spider and, we'll learn later, an ugly girlfriend. Buzz scares Kevin with a story about their serial killer neighbor Marley, who keeps bodies in his bucket of salt. Buzz calls him the Shovel Slayer. I mean, that sounds legit. All serial killers seem to have some clever nickname or another. Pizza Guy can't drive. He slams into a statue in front of the family's house as he comes to deliver their dinner. He's got 10 pizzas with him, comes to a total of $122.50 in 1990 money. He works at Little Nero's, clearly a ripoff of Little Caesar's. So now the pizza guy, who looks like a Scot, if you ask me, but we never get his name, is standing around in the hallway with a cop, waiting to be paid. It's pizza time in the kitchen. Everyone's talking at once. Uncle Frank says they have to leave the house by 8 a.m. the next morning. Kate McAllister hopes they're all drinking milk, but not because it quote-unquote does the body good, but because she just wants to get rid of it. Buzz ate all the cheese pizza, damn it, so now Kevin has to fight him. There's a ruckus, and little Fuller gets squished between a chair and the wall. But don't worry, he doesn't die. If he did, you could be sure this movie would have ended differently. His glasses! Fuller can't see without his glasses! Kevin's in trouble now. Kate pays the pizza man in cash. She tips him well, and she lets the cop know about their planned trip to Paris. The cop just wants to make sure all the neighbors are taking precautions around the holidays. Interesting reason to just stop by unannounced like that, as if he's got nothing better to do, and yet he wants the neighbors to think crime is hopping out there. Mom forces Kevin up into the attic. Don't worry, Fuller will sleep somewhere else. Kevin says he wishes he didn't have a family. His mother's like, well, why don't you throw a penny into a wishing well? See how that turns out for you. Kevin makes the same mistake all main characters do in movies like this. He doubles down on his wish. That never ends well. The next morning, the family sleeps in. They're in a rush to get out of the house, and as luck would have it, some annoying neighbor boy stops by just to ask a lot of rapid-fire questions of the airport express drivers, not giving them any time to answer, and the cousin counting the heads of the children gets confused and thinks the neighbor boy is one of them. He's certainly annoying enough to be one of them. Once on the plane, the parents hope they didn't forget anything. Back at home, Kevin wakes up and discovers an empty house. Oops, guess he's the thing they forgot. The mother feels like a turd for letting the kids sit in coach instead of being in first class with the adults. The father's like, they should be grateful we even let them out of the house. Just wait until they discover that this is only a true statement for 99% of the kids because 1% is still back at home. Or maybe that's 0.00001%, depending on how much you think Kevin counts in this family. Back at home, Kevin is wondering where the hell his family members are. Once he really takes some time to think about it, he realizes his wish came true. His family has been sucked up into the void like the house in Poltergeist, and he celebrates. Keep in mind, though, this is a kid that can't even pack his own suitcase. Throughout the course of the movie, though, he will go shopping, do the laundry, cut down a Christmas tree in the front yard. I guess he just needed a little bit of freedom and a whole lot of incentive, and he was good to go. On the plane, Kate finally figures out that they forgot Kevin. They have a little family huddle, and one of them says they didn't forget him. It was just a miscount. And Uncle Frank left his reading glasses behind, so don't be so hard on yourselves, Pete and Kate. Mistakes happen. At home, Kevin is getting up to all sorts of no good. He goes sledding down the front staircase, eats junk food, and watches movies he shouldn't. He is also quite a responsible child at times as well. He gives himself pep talks in front of the mirror in the morning. He goes shopping for a toothbrush approved by the American Dental Association, very important, and he buys a bunch of groceries for just under $20. Let's talk about the female cashier for a moment, though. Was she a nosy, judgy little or what? But Kevin handled her well. He carries the groceries home in 2 bags, but the bag breaks and spills all over the sidewalk at one point, and we never do find out how Kevin gets all of those goods back to the house. Meanwhile, there are 2 burglars called the Wet Bandits who are scoping out the McAllister home. They're called the Wet Bandits because they leave the water running at the homes they hit. One of them is Joe Pesci, who pretended to be that cop earlier on. Kevin is a pretty smart kid and can hear them outside his house scheming. He tries to fool them into thinking there are tons of people in the home, and some of his schemes are absolutely ridiculous. For instance, that cardboard cutout of Michael Jordan looked nothing like a real person, even standing in a window from a distance. I mean, you could clearly tell that was fake. The burglars eventually see right through him and make plans to come by the house late at night to do their big steal. Also, Kevin has a few run-ins with Old Man Marley. He's scared at first, but they eventually have a nice conversation at a church during Christmas choir practice. Kevin learns that Marley once had a fight with his grown son, and now he's estranged from his family. He's too ashamed to just say he's sorry and make amends. Kevin says suck it up and apologize already, though he admits the check that Marley is currently sending his granddaughter every Christmas is a lot better than the Big Bird sweaters Kevin is getting from his own grandparents. In Paris, Kevin's mother wants to get back home immediately, but she can't teleport. The next plane she can get is in 2 days, but she doesn't want to wait that long, so she'll wait alone in the airport to see if a seat opens up. The rest of the family just leaves her there. She does manage to convince an old woman to sell her a couple of tickets, and that gets her part of the way. She eventually catches a ride the rest of the way home with a bunch of polka-playing nobodies, one of whom is John Candy. The key scenes in the movie involve Kevin setting up multiple booby traps in his home in preparation for the arrival of the burglars. And yet he has a BB gun. And you would think the very first time he shoots them with it as they're attempting to break into his home, they'd give up and go on their merry way. There's got to be other empty houses they could strike in the neighborhood, but they've got revenge on their minds, and nothing will stop them. Not a blowtorch to the head, not a nail in the foot, not multiple falls on the icy steps. They should be dead by now, but they keep getting back up and trying again. Finally, there's a scene where Old Man Marley comes upon them threatening the small boy and strikes them with his shovel, and that seems to do the trick. Kate arrives home Christmas morning, and Kevin is so happy to see her. The rest of the family arrives minutes later. Like the timing of all this would ever work out that perfectly in real life. Also, since they all arrived home within minutes of each other, Kate could have probably just waited for that airplane with the rest of the family instead of taking this convoluted route home. I would give this movie 4 stars. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's a lot of fun and a holiday classic.